All right, YouTube, we're jumping into a follow-up to the sub story that we did, I think yesterday or the day before. Just, I wanted to, this will be the last time that we talk about it, but I wanted to just follow up on some of the most egregious stuff that I've learned about how much of a bad idea this submersible was. Yeah, it's me. I'm Seth Rogen. Hey, I'm the guy from, I'm a big celebrity. Make sure you give me all your money because I'm already a millionaire, but I would actually really appreciate more of your money. I'm already a massive success, right? But it would be, if you want me to like think about you and say your name out in public and stuff, you should give me your money. Okay? Yeah. So make sure you buy one of my high quality, incredibly high quality, absolutely high quality shirts. Buy one of my t-shirts and worship me. That's all I ask. You seem more relaxed about your weight. Shut the hell up, Zio Duke. I'm working on it. Before though we get into it's a place. It's like it's more formed like a PlayStation 3 controller. I wanted to talk about the migrant disaster before we get into how shitty, how stupid the design was of this sub, because this is being brought up on social media and it's a good point, right? Some billionaire has an unfortunate accident, right, and is getting a bunch of people killed, and the whole world pulls out all the stops, right? And they pulled out all the stops. Migrants, boat capsizes, hundreds of people drown, women, children. Some of them could have been saved with the same kind of intervention. What is the difference? What is the difference? Why did those people matter less? And I think it's obvious the answer is money. On top of all the other intrigue behind it, I think the big answer is money, is class. And I wanted to point this out mainly because class is often ignored, right? Because it's all this commie shit, right? You don't like, I don't want to get into commie shit. Let's not talk about class. But no, it really does. A lot of the problems that we're dealing with have to do with class and how class is treated, how, where that puts you on the hierarchy. You receive different kinds of justice, right? You have a different experience throughout most of your life. Class is very important. And if you're going to be a democratic socialist like me, you do need to understand class dynamics, but you also need to understand that, you need to go beyond Marx. Okay. You need to talk about class and how that actually affects people day to day. Don't be bringing that motherfucking manifesto up. Keep that shit in your pocket, commies. Okay, we're talking about democratic socialism. And look, this is incredibly tragic. So I wanted to start off the sub coverage by covering the migrant. And if you're getting bored and you don't like poor people, you don't like stories about poor people, well, too fucking bad. This is about 5 or 10 minutes, and then we're gonna get on to how badly designed this sub was. I mean, I got some nuggets, folks. I got some real fucking choice nuggets about the cockamamie bullshit that this disruptor was trying to pull, right?
With hope of finding anyone else alive in the sea off Greece gone, all that is left is to collect bodies.
Jay Solahov, I think you're correct.
On board, but there are only 100 or so survivors.
Someone was telling me that the moment things happened, it was so quick that they were shouting, they were trying to catch to one another, just to jump, take off their clothes, not to have weight.
One young man started to cry and said, "I need my mother." This was a very difficult moment. I need my mother. This voice is inside my ears.
Horribly, survivors told Greek doctors that the hold of the ship was full of children, more than 100. And although that number cannot be independently verified, Save the Children says it fears there was an immense loss of young lives.
It's shocking and horrifying. And from Save the Children's perspective, what we really want to emphasize and remember is that these people who died have names, they have families.
Qassam Abu Zaid, a Syrian who lives in Germany, said he paid $4,500 for his now missing wife to make the trip.
شو بتقول مشاعره؟ أكيد مشاعر ما في مشاعر تحكي.
How would I feel? I lost my wife now. I don't know where is she now. So of course,
زوجته.
Yeah.
it's my wife.
And look, to the people that are saying, oh well, then you shouldn't get in the boat, you shouldn't try to do this, you should, it's not that simple. Look, and I understand it's not a simple situation. It's not as simple as just blaming the West, right, and saying, well, the West needs to do something about this. It's not that simple either. But it's not as simple as saying, well, this is a calculated risk. You're breaking the law. You get what you deserve. It's not that simple either. It's actually a very, very complicated set of issues that's causing this kind of desperation. And then on top of that, people like this, poor people like this, get conned, get tricked by grifters saying, oh yeah, no problem, we'll get your wife over there, no biggie, just cost you, I mean, $4,500, probably the most money he's ever seen in his life. Probably took him years to save up for that. Maybe, I don't know, he looks like a professional, maybe he's quite, capable, but even a fully capable person in these areas, they're not going to be making money hand over fist. It's a lot of money for them. And he was grifted, right? Because they pack him in, man. They pack him in. You got to. Hopefully, they show pictures of this boat. Because it is a human rights disaster, right? Absolutely packed to the gills, shoulder to shoulder blade on this boat. It's a multi-layered problem, and pointing the finger at any one entity, including the West, is not the solution. I'm not trying to both sides this either, because the West absolutely has a major obligation to do what it can to of course provide rescue, but also to prevent the economic situation that would make a person this desperate, right? And then of course treat them like human beings if they somehow make it to our shores. And then treat them like human beings.
There's been some criticism of Greece's Coast Guard that it intercepted the decrepit vessel but didn't stop it. But Greek authorities say the ship was in international waters and legally they did all they could.
If people are forced to take these routes in this way and being exploited under these conditions, we will continue to have such deadly incidents.
There have been several arrests on suspicion of trafficking people across the Mediterranean, the most dangerous migrant crossing in the world. Chris Brown, CBC News, London.
Most of the survivors have been taken to the Greek city of Kalamata, and tonight that's where our Megan Williams is. And Megan, you arrived this evening. What have you seen?
Well, Ian, I'm standing in the far end of the port where most of the 100 or so survivors are sleeping behind me now in that warehouse. I was here earlier. I saw some of them sitting outside drinking water. One man was going through a bin of secondhand clothing, picking out some clothes. Another man was picking a popsicle from a fridge.
So we have these cases of jurisdiction. We have these cases. Okay, who's actually responsible? Yeah. I mean, really, but it's like I said, it's complicated, right? Because we're not just talking about rescue operations and helping people that are in danger. We're talking about, and this is never talked about on mainstream, right? What is actually being done to fix the economic and social situation that would drive a person to be that desperate? What is the West doing to a third world country, right? To their economy, right? Is the West helping them, or is the West exploiting that country? Right. And of course, and how we treat these people when they actually make it to our shores. Are they treated like human beings? Right. Why not make these incredibly strong, vibrant, healthy people that are, willing to risk it all for a better life? Why not make them American citizens? Right. And why not instead of saying putting up a wall and saying, you're not allowed to come here. Don't you dare even risk your life. You know, if you die, it's your own fault. Instead of putting up a big wall, why don't we put up a big Statue of Liberty that says, come on over here? Yeah, your country's terrible, right? We don't have the capability of fixing it, but we do have an open door. Come on over. And oh no, the immigrants, oh, they're taking over everything. Really? We got so much space in the middle of America, it'd make you sick. We have so much space and so much capability. You know, it's absolutely ridiculous. This idea that immigration and migrants make a country weaker, right? That it brings over crime, and it is completely bullshit. These are incredibly, let me tell you, some of the most patriotic people in the fucking world are people that are immigrants that come over for a better life and then get a better life. I'm so tired of this idea that, oh, we don't have the resources. We don't have the resources. My dick, we don't have the resources. My dick, we don't have the resources. We got all the money in the world to blow up Vladimir Putin, but we got nothing for the poor, for the desperate. I don't believe it. I don't believe it. And I don't think it's an issue of either or either, because a lot of these bad actors like, oh, yeah, we could have been spending money on Flint, but we spent money on Ukraine. Bitch, we got enough money for both. We need to start talking about who are these people allocating these funds and why are they failing to do so properly? Because it's not about money. It's not, we got plenty of money. We got loads of money. It's not about that. It's politics. It's politics. Why are our politicians abandoning these people?
The mood was subdued, depressed. I saw only young men. I have heard unofficially that there is a woman as well, but everybody who I've seen so far has been male.
And what about residents? How do they seem to be reacting?
Well, just steps away from here is this boardwalk with restaurants and cafes full. You know, this is a town that's a tourist destination as well, so it's buzzing. But I spoke with some restaurant owners, and one of them spoke of that ancient Greek word xenia, that Greek hospitality that goes back to ancient times.
And the Jimmy Dores of the world are trying to make some stupid fucking argument, some absolutely boneheaded argument about either or, right? Oh, this money that we're sending to Ukraine is going to be sent to Flint, Michigan. He's a liar and a grifter. We have money for it. This Ukraine war is 5% of the defense budget. It's nothing. It's nothing to Uncle Sam. It's nothing. They're fucking shitting on Putin at a discount price. Okay, we got money. Okay, it's not about money. It's about politics.
He said the community is bringing food in here, his restaurant as well, water, clothing, blankets. He said the whole town has been impacted by this tragedy and is doing everything they can to help.
Oh, they're doing everything.
Williams in Kalamata, Greece tonight.
Pulling out all the stops.
Thanks, Ian.
No, look, I mean, I don't want to shit on these people, like the people that are helping, the money that is being allocated to help these people. But let's be real. They're not going to see, real justice. It's the process of deporting them back to where they went so they can try it again, right? Because that's the thing, is that they'll just try again. A lot of them. You save up and try it again. Just next time, don't get caught, right? Don't get wrapped up in this, and you get to run around and, So I just wanted to talk about the migrants. All right, so let's talk about this goddamn ship. Okay, so I thought this sub, okay, this guy's making it out of carbon fiber, right? Okay, he's trying to innovate on carbon fiber, right? He's got some new carbon fiber manufacturing techniques, some new weaving techniques, right? He's got, he's going to build this in a really weird self-reinforcing shape that, and it's lighter and better than titanium, and it's all these things. I thought that's what was going on with this guy when I was covering this. No. This guy didn't have any, and I repeat, any carbon fiber innovations. He bought used carbon fiber from Boeing that was past its shelf life. He took carbon fiber that was already on a plane used, and if you don't know what carbon fiber is, let me just show you really quick. It's kind of like glass. It's a really cool material. It's actually really effing cool, okay?
Carbon fiber is composed of carbon atoms bonded together to form a long chain. The fibers are extremely stiff, strong, and light, and are used in many processes to create excellent building materials. That's the short version. Let's go over some more of the finer detail in engineering to measure the benefit of a material in terms of strength to weight.
It's incredibly light. It's incredibly strong for the weight ratio, right? It's incredibly stiff. You could use it in sandwiches. So it's multi-layered. There's a sandwich structure. It's used in like car, really fancy car bodies would be carbon fiber. You can have the lining of your truck, I think, be carbon fiber. There's a million uses for it. It's very, very good. Right, but this is great. You got an end segment here.
So there you have
carbon fiber versus metal, and that's the issue here with the sub. Everyone else makes their submersibles out of titanium. Listen to this. You want to talk about how much pressure that vessel, the submarine, was under at 12,500 feet. The pressure that was being applied to that vessel is equivalent to if the Eiffel Tower was sitting on top of the vessel. If the entire weight of the Eiffel Tower was sitting on top of this carbon fiber tube. Just to give you an example of the kind of weight that this sub had to have been able to handle, right? The pressure from all angles, right? And this motherfucker goes to the goddamn scrap yard, the motherfucking scrap yard, to get the carbon fiber that he used to build this sub. I thought for sure Homeboy was at least innovating on the carbon fiber, that because he was like consulting with scientists, right, who must have said, oh, that's a terrible idea. Carbon fiber can't handle these kind of pressures. I don't think I have this queued up, but there was a video of a friend of his who went on the second voyage underneath, and he said he could tell that the vessel was submerging, was going deeper by the amount of cracking that he could hear of the carbon fiber tube that he was in. It was cracking as they were going deeper and deeper. Well, I mean, Boeing, I'm sure Boeing said it was safe for like, you want to build a hobby plane, you want to, build a carbon fiber body for your car. Yeah, that's all fine, right? I'm sure, Boeing doesn't have any, I'm certain Boeing said, oh yeah, you could absolutely turn that into a, deep sea submersible. No doubt about it. I highly doubt that's what Boeing said, right? So I wanted to point this out real quick, not to dwell on the quartering here. Yeah, safety first Boeing. Exactly. We all know Boeing is a corporation that gives a shit about human lives. No, Rebel Phoenix. No, the carbon fiber was not only on the outside. The entire tube was carbon fiber. The two end caps were titanium. So it was like a titanium end caps holding the carbon fiber body together. Okay. Solohov, 100%. Seemingly yes, 100%. Solohov, you might be correct. I don't see the industry ever going back to carbon fiber, at least for the next 10 to 20 years, until we forget about this. Possibly, I haven't read that Al Rakabi, but so here we have the right wing grifting away. I just wanted to point out these ridiculous clowns grifting, death by woke. And get this, the reason why they're saying that he's woke is because he had that comment about how he didn't want a bunch of 50-year-old, gray-haired, old schoolers. He wanted a bunch of young people because he wasn't being inspired by the 50-year-old submariners that were telling him, oh, that's a terrible idea. Absolutely terrible. Don't do that. It'll collapse upon itself. You're going to kill yourself and kill other people. And by the way, we're going to get to that quote of literally a person who makes submersibles reaching out to this guy, reaching out to him and saying, you're not ready to be taking passengers. This is not tested enough. You're not ready. And what does this guy say? He says, I'm personally insulted by you questioning me. All these insults saying I'm going to get people killed. I'm personally insulted. And then his company tried to sue him. And then his company tried to sue him. Oh, you're defaming me. You're defaming me for saying I'm going to get people killed. So that's the angle here. So he cranks out a 10 minute, because it's 10 minutes. 10 fucking minutes. Death by woke. Yep. Moving on. We're not going to sit here and unlike the serfs that could spend like 2 hours talking about this. We're not going to do that. But just wanted to point out just how fucking clownish these people actually are. There's a real story here. You could actually be talking about real things. But no, you want to tie this into your existing narrative against LGBTQ people and against woke people. So getting preparation for the 2024 elections. You know what I mean? These people are so cynical. These people are so fucking grifted. And can we talk about the tankies? Can we talk about the tankies out here? So here we have a tanky right here, Marxist 777 saying, why the Titanic submarine incident will be a victory for the working class. So we got the right-wing fascists making this into a battle against wokeism. And we have the left-wing idiot tankies trying to claim that this is a victory against the, a victory for the working class because five billionaires, because a couple billionaires and one, and a couple millionaires in there, and one of their 19-year-old son got obliterated because of hubris. We need to stop listening to these, and I need to take my own advice, but they're so clownish. I have to point it out. We have to stop letting these people inject themselves into the conversation like they have something legitimate to say. This is just contrarianism, right? Victory for the working class because what? A couple rich people got obliterated? I don't think so. These people don't vote. They don't, all they contribute is fucking bile. So yeah, the social media hammer and sickle tankies, get them the fuck out of your life, okay? I mean, they're just as, I'm not going to sit here and make an equivalency. I'm not going to say it that they're just as bad, okay, as the right-wing fascists, because they're not. But holy shit, they're the top 5 most annoying entities on social media is the unapologetic communist tanky that think, oh, Mao would have done this better. Let me just post another picture of Mao. Let me just post another guillotine picture. This'll show him. Get them out of your life. But Woke Patriot was nice enough to provide us with a video in the Discord coming from the perspective of someone who's trying to explain to me, right, why there is less empathy for these people. I have a pretty good idea why, but this person speaks more eloquently than I do and is more intelligent than I am. So maybe let's get his opinion on this. Because I think there is something to be said here about why there is a complete lack of empathy for these oligarchs, right? And their 19-year-old son, who tragically, and this is the most tragic thing about this, was scared, didn't want to go on the sub, didn't give a flying fuck about the Titanic. This is all about pleasing his dad on Father's Day, right? Just a tragic victim of some other man's hubris. Thank you for the follow, Zealot and Oculus. Thank you so much. And thank you for the follow, Jay Solohob. Wow, look at this. Follow Fest. You guys rock. Getting Chex Quest CDs and rare cringe. Man. Lucky you. But let's get the opinion here of this person who is trying to give us a better idea of why there's less empathy for these billionaires and where that might be coming from, where that attitude might be coming from. Don't believe this is to be a win, but I'm in mind of good riddance. Yeah, I don't know about that. I think because I do believe in entrepreneurship and innovation and pushing the boundaries and exploring in new ways. But I don't think that was 100% the goal here, right? Because I think this guy, he thought he was a genius. He thought he could whiz bang his way to a product that he could sell. You know, he was like, this is a disruptible industry. I could come in, make a mint, start selling tickets. But at the same time, it's not like he completely disregarded science. He just disregarded the science that was getting in the way of his plan to disrupt it, because the whole thing hinged on the carbon fiber sub working. It had to work, right? But he had all this money, but he didn't want to spend the money to test it properly. He did not want to spend. He despised safety. He was like, safety. Oh, just a waste of time. I mean, literally, almost making comments almost just like that. All right. Anyway, let's get back to this person's comments here about why there's less empathy for billionaires.
If you see people making jokes about the submarine and it's making you a little upset, I want you to know that you should be upset. You should be upset, but I don't want you to stop there. I don't want you to stop at being upset that there are some folks that are laughing at another human being's despair. I want you now to ask the next question, right? Don't get intellectually lazy now. Ask the next question. What could have possibly happened in these last 100 years to create a condition where millions of working class people had almost no empathy for a billionaire in despair? What could have happened? It can't just be that poor people are just angry and jealous. Like, don't get intellectually lazy now. You ask the question, go all the way, figure the whole thing out. Where could this lack of empathy come from? Could it be that poor and middle class, lower class people see the wealth that their labor creates being profiteered on at near oligarchy levels?
It's class, and you know, you're not a commie tanky by pointing out that one of the most essential discrepancies in society in general, in all democracies, is class.
So much so that they themselves are paywalled from the very things that their labor is supposed to provide them, like healthcare, like education, like access to education. Their living conditions are being commodified to such an extreme level that they don't even know if they can live in the places that they grew up in. And all of this is happening at the hands of millionaires and billionaires that are taking too much from what they're not creating. Could it be that? We literally just went through a global pandemic and watched millionaires and billionaires on corporate earning calls brag about raising the prices of basic goods to rake in record profits when we needed them the most. You're seeing these jokes online and you think that people are not nice, but the truth is people are not dumb. Large corporation CEOs and billionaires fight tooth and nail. They hire lobbyists after lawyer after politician to make sure that the minimum wage stays exactly where it is as these large corporations grow exponentially in size based off of the labor of the people that they refuse to pay a living wage. You are never going to find empathy out of those people.
So that, I mean, it doesn't really justify laughing at a 19-year-old getting eviscerated. It really doesn't. At the same time, there is a reason. Okay, it's not just people, you know, poor people are less empathetic. It's actually the exact opposite. Poor people are more likely to give in charity, or more likely to give money, right, and donating and give food and do all these other things than any rich person. The statistics show that. So that's not the case. But, you know, I think it is fair to point out, these attitudes are coming from somewhere. People know they're getting fucked by the oligarchy. They don't think it's cute. They don't think it's justified. You don't think Elon Musk is better than anyone else. You know, even no matter how much that attitude is reinforced by these oligarchs, right? That they're better. We're on the cover of magazines. Ford's top 100, right? They're not better than us. All right, just because you can turn a dime and turn it into a dollar doesn't make you, you know, supremely superior, right, to other human beings. So regular folks know that, right? No matter how much the opposite is repeated to them. So I do think it is appropriate to point that out. That really, it doesn't justify it. It doesn't make it right. You know, because we like I said, like I repeat this constantly, right? For the left to have the moral high ground, and we need the moral high ground because we want to tell people how to live their lives. This is politics, right? Social democratic socialists are trying to create policy that affects everybody. We're trying to be serious here. You need the moral high ground if you're going to feel certain about the recommendations you're making for society. And you're not going to secure the moral high ground celebrating the death of anybody. Okay? You know, there's gradations there, right? No one's going to give you shit for not shedding a tear for Hitler in his bunker, right? So there's gradations there. But overall, on the whole, it's a bad look to chuckle jokes and make fun of, I mean, people dying. Thankfully, they didn't suffer, but it's one of the most violent ways to go. Your body is filled with sacks, okay, with sacks of liquid and air and fluids, and everything inside comes outside. Let's just say that. You get fucking eviscerated. It's one of the most violent ways to die. It's just not a good look for a movement. And this is where I'm always coming from. This is the angle of the News Underground. It's about creating change. It's not a good look for the movement to be cracking jokes. Even if these people, even this guy, I mean, literally the new face of hubris. Literally, I don't follow the rules. Rules are for suckers. Yeah, they keep telling me I'm going to get a bunch of people killed. Those guys are assholes. I mean, like literally the new face of hubris. And I mean, it just never stops. Okay, folks, so this is the carbon fiber body. This is the inside, and I was pointing this out. Here's the magic button, right? The one button on the craft. But I just can't believe this. I just can't believe. So apparently the body, the tube, right? The main chamber that everyone was sitting in. There's the controller, by the way. It's 5 inches thick. 5 inches thick of carbon fiber. And when you are creating a chamber that is going deep into the ocean, that's going to receive an incredible amount of pressure from all angles, you want 0 imperfections, right? You want no cracks. Needs to be perfect, right? So what does this guy do to a vessel whose integrity is paramount to the survival of everybody in the vessel? He fucking screws a monitor into it. I can't express how dumb this is. I can't express. You need it perfect. No, and especially carbon fiber. We're not even talking about titanium anymore. We're talking about carbon fiber. Okay, it's rigid. It's rigid, and when it shatters, right, it's like your windshield, right? It's really, really strong. It's really, really strong until there's a crack, and then all of a sudden it becomes really, really weak as that crack gets, spreads across the whole thing and shatters the whole windshield, right? Same thing with carbon fiber. And here he is adding imperfections to the fucking tube. Especially high pressure, right? Which under high pressure scenarios, any imperfection is going to be, that's where the catastrophic explosion is going to start. Just wanted to point that out. This is probably the most egregious. This I'm speechless. I can't believe it. I can't believe no one stood up and said and really said, no, for real. This guy's a huckster. This guy's a grifter. This guy's going to get somebody killed. Listen to this. All right, I just taught you about pressure, about all this, how important it is to have, that chamber fully sealed, everything, no imperfections, right? I just explained that to you. So listen to this. So this Chiller on Twitter here, thank you, Chiller. My mind is more blown by the fact that there were 18 bolts, like regular ass bolts, not like explosive bolts or anything. Some bolts you'd use to hold the fucking your trucks to your skateboard. 18 bolts that held the sub closed, and listen to this, folks. Listen to this. That held this 18 bolts that held the sub closed, and they routinely only closed 17 of them because the 18th was on top and harder to reach and mathematically the same. This is supposed to be. We heard the statement from the guy last time we covered this. This was supposed to. They were supposed to have checklists and safety inspections and every coming and going and coming and go. This was the safety culture. This was the safety culture. These look at these. These are not bolts that are meant for high pressure. These are not bolts. These are meant for high pressure. I cannot stress that enough. I don't care, dude. They're not thick, and I don't know anything about engineering. They're not thick enough. They're not made from the right materials. And they're not. And half the time, they didn't even bolt the whole fucking thing. Held it with hand tight screws. Hand tight screws. You need that seal to be perfect. You need that seal to be absolutely 100% perfect. Hand tight. This is it right here. This is where the man should have been stopped. And he started selling tickets and no one stopped him. So let me just show you. This is the last bit. Then I'm done with the sub story, hopefully for the rest of my life. Lenny, and let me tell you, Lenny knows all about preventable accidents. He literally has a YouTube show called Accidents Waiting to Happen. Lenny, you got to put your link in the chat, buddy. People got to see your content. Check out Accidents Waiting to Happen. Lenny, you got to do a whole show on this sub, man, because this is the new king of accidents waiting to happen. Is this sub? You got to do it. We need regulators of the high sea. Apparently, this industry is kind of regulated, but was only rated for 2,000 feet. You're joking. The porthole itself wasn't even rated for the amount of pressure. I just can't believe this. I just cannot believe this. All right. We don't have to do the entire interview here because it's a lot of information we already know. I just want to get to the safety concerns. So this is the beginning here. Wait until you see this email exchange with a guy that knows what he's doing, that makes submersibles. So this guy that makes the CEO of this company that makes submersibles for a living, right? A very specialized industry, reached out to the CEO of OceanGate and was like, homie, you're going to get people killed. You're not ready for this. And that's when OceanGate said, I'm going to sue you. I'm personally insulted by you saying I'm going to get people killed, yada, yada. Wait till you see this, wait till you see this. I mean, this is unbelievable. No, folks, you got to check out Lenny's. You got to check out Lenny's channel. I'm not going to, you got to get a proper link. Accidents Waiting to Happen, folks. You got to go there, check it out, like and subscribe. Let me tell you, you will not be disappointed. Very entertaining stuff. I love it. Because we got no one's out there is doing a Lenny. No one is talking about stuff that Lenny's talking about. So you got to love that. Check it out. You will not be disappointed. Check it out. Okay. Wait till you see this email exchange, folks. This is it. New king of hubris.
The US Coast Guard revealed that all 5 people who'd been aboard the submersible, hoping to see the wreck of the Titanic, had died. What went so tragically wrong is now under investigation.
She got a little Sigourney Weaver thing going on, yeah.
Has seen emails which show that warnings over the safety of the Titan sub were dismissed by the company's CEO. Also on the programme. Banks here in the UK have agreed to offer Narendra Modi continue.
That is what we'll be covering in the UK section, by the way, is the mortgage bank inflation crisis.
Now we start with developments on the death of 5 people on board the submersible, which went missing in the Atlantic on Sunday. And the BBC has seen email messages showing that warnings over the safety of OceanGate's Titan sub were repeatedly dismissed by the CEO of the company. The messages were exchanged with a leading deep-sea exploration specialist. Now, the worries were over the craft's unusual design, its non-spherical shape, the reliability of the material it was made of, carbon fibre, and the fact it had also not been through any external independent certification or classing process. Now, the BBC has been exclusively given an email exchange between Stockton Rush, that's the CEO of OceanGate, who died in the incident, and a leading deep water exploration specialist, Rob McCallum. So let's take a look at them. So this was an email sent in 2018. Rob McCallum warned Stockton Rush, "I have given everyone the same honest advice, which is that until a sub is classed, tested and proven, it should not be used for commercial deep dive operations." He went on, "As much as I appreciate entrepreneurship and innovation, you are potentially putting an entire industry at risk." So
and these were the 50-year-old gray-haired guys that weren't inspiring to the OceanGate CEO. People could see this coming from a mile away. You know, they were like, well, because they were like, it's kind of an interesting idea if you get it to work, right? But you got to, like, you know, I mean, fuck the amount of testing I do to my submersibles, you know, with all the science that understood science. You have to start from square one, and you're going to have to double, triple down on, you know, research and development to try and make sure this works. And this guy was like, no, I don't have to do any of that. I'm going to whip this up with some secondhand carbon fiber and start selling tickets. You're just a dummy. You don't even know what you're doing. You're not a businessman. Apparently the OceanGate CEO, though, was an engineer. He does have an engineering background, apparently, but the hubris is more akin to a Carnival Barker style capitalist than an engineer, if you ask me.
I implore you to take every care in your testing and sea trials and to be very, very conservative. Now, a few days later,
okay, hold on, I interrupted that. So I implore you to take every care in your testing and sea trials.
And to be very, very conservative.
Very, very conservative, right?
Conservative. Now, a few days later, OceanGate's Stockton Rush replied, "I've grown tired of industry players who try to use a safety argument to stop innovation and new entrants from entering their small existing market."
And I got to say, every comment made by anybody that was even giving him soft criticism straight up would say, I'm not trying to shit on this guy's attempt at innovation. I'm just saying he's going too fast, right? So he's a complete baby. He's an absolute child in responding to some of the criticism, which was actually very professional, very light, and like very encouraging of like, hey, this guy's trying to innovate. So, I mean, this guy is just, just totally up his own ass. Almost literally now. Okay, we can't do that. Come on.
Told Rob McCallum, "Since Guillermo, the former co-founder of OceanGate, and I started OceanGate, we've heard the baseless cries of 'you are going to kill someone' way too often. I take this as a serious personal insult."
And we all know guys like this, right? They can't have a real conversation, right? I bet you Stockton Rush was the kind of guy that's like, I keep it real. You could tell me anything, and I can have a debate with anybody, and I could do anything. And then you push back, ruffle his feathers a little bit. This is a serious personal insult against me. I can't believe you do this to me, right? We all know these guys.
Now, the next day, Rob McCallum replied in the starkest terms, "I think you are potentially placing yourself and your clients in a dangerous dynamic. Ironically, in your race to Titanic, you are mirroring that famous catch cry, 'She is unsinkable.'"
100%.
Now, OceanGate's...
He said that shit in 2018. 2018, dude. Wow.
Lawyers then contacted Rob McCallum and threatened legal action. Today, we have contacted them again, and they say they have no additional information.
Oh, by the way, OceanGate says that they're not going to pay for the rescue effort. They're not going to pay any money for that. It sounds like they're trying to still, exist. Like, fold it up, pay as much money as you possibly can to, they probably don't want to pay anything because they are folding it up. They need every dime to cover the dissolving of the company.
Robert McCallum maintains that no one should have gone in this submersible.
Yeah.
Well, this morning we heard from William Conan, chairman of the US Marine Technology Society Manned Underwater Vehicles Committee.
Yeah. So this guy goes on to say it was a bad idea. Spoiler alert. So if you want to see the rest of this BBC interview, which is great, it's like 20 minutes or 14 minutes here. Great interviews covering the rest of the sub disasters from other experts, just pointing out the same things that this was really not a great idea. interesting. It's an interesting idea, right? Like, what if we could make a deep sea submersible without a big block of titanium? What could we accomplish there? So it's an interesting idea, but homie, you got to test the shit out of this. You can't just be selling tickets. Send it down a few times. I am still shocked. I wish I had the video for you of the statement from the guy who went on the second trip down. The cracking. He said it was cracking all over. He said he has a video of the cracking too, but the cracking that he heard of the entire vessel as it was going deeper and deeper. Jesus Christ, At least in an airplane, you can jump out of the airplane, right? If you're 1,200 feet in below in the ocean, if something goes wrong, you're actually fucking screwed, dude. You're like 100% screwed. And they took a 19-year-old boy down there, like, oh, do you want to go? It's super safe and fun. We do it all the time. No. So there you go, YouTube. That's the last bit of my sub news. That's all I got. Just wanted to point it out. Wanted to point out the migrants. Wanted to point out the hubris, the mistakes, the complete disregard for human safety. Just wanted to point all that out. Thank you, YouTube.